My brother Nelson L in the
We
house.
here now, bro.
Good to see you, man. So
Getting it together.
yeah, we had a few technical difficulties trying to get this live together. This is actually my first time going live, but me and this brother right here, I consider him a good friend of mine. He's living out of state right now, but we always have great discussions and we always build when we do that. Some people say, when you're having a great discussion, you chopping it up, but we don't chop it up, we don't chop it down, we build. When we have these great discussions like we have. And we always like to put the action with the words. So it's not just a lot of mumbo jumbo and brothers up here trying to sound smart. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to go right into this. This channel, I used to go by the moniker and sometimes do go by the moniker Reese Selassie. My name is Curtis. But, when I was in the hip hop world, I went by the name Reese Selassie. And, this brother is somebody that I met along that path. And he's always shown me love and always been genuine. So I respect that. And this channel, Selassie and Nicolette, is a channel that's actually ran by my wife and I. And we like to focus on family orientated events and activities, but we also tap in with the consciousness because we know that, having your mind together and your heart in the right places is the first step to having a strong family. So we always like to drop that information. So just 1 second. All right, that's had a notification pop up. So Nelson L, EL, we're gonna go ahead and get this started. So brother, you can go ahead and give whatever you want to say to the people to introduce this message, and then we can go ahead and take it from there.
Absolutely. First and foremost, we want to give all praise, thanksgiving, worship, adoration, and faithfulness to Allah, the Father of the universe. I know we waking up now, so we hear, all kind of different names, whatever name you choose. Let's not let that, what part, how you grew up, divide us on that. The Most High. We give praise to the Most High. We give honors, especially on this day. Today is January the 8th. A prophet was born unto us, unto a special people. And I want to get into a little bit of that today, but we won't go too deep because we got so much to cover. We're going to try to keep it to an hour. But we want to give honors to Prophet Noble Drew Ali, born in the state of North Carolina, 1886.
On this day today, January the 8th.
On this day. And there's no accidents. You and I spoke offline. We was going to go up on the 7th, and just the way things happen.
Yeah, we had to reschedule
this. Yeah. And so I said, there ain't no accident. You know what I mean? We're going up on January the 8th, 2023. So we want to give honors to Prophet Noble Drew Ali for, waking us up, so to speak, out of a dead state of mind, if you will. And we want to give honors to the forerunner of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, which is Marcus Mosier Garvey, who said, intelligence rules the world, ignorance bears the burden. So we want to give honors to intelligence. And I want to give honors to you. I want to give honors to your wife. I always say you guys are, we need examples in our community. We don't have a lot of that. So I always give honors where I see that. And congratulations on your new blessing.
Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, man. It's that time.
Yeah, this happened girl, man. So it's my first time, being a girl dad, what they say. So
right, that's right.
Blessing having a new life in the house. So appreciate that, brother. But we want to go ahead and get started and open this up. I know you and I had a few bullet points that we wanted to touch, and right now with the the whole sports world and sports media kind of everybody's showing a lot of love and sending a lot of prayers to the brother Damar Hamlin, who was injured for the Buffalo Bills.
That's right.
I know you're out there in Las Vegas, and I'm back in KC, and the Chiefs just played Las Vegas the other night. Right. So we're just going to bring it all home. And I wanted to ask you, what are some of your thoughts on this? Because from my perspective, and, I've always been the conspiracy brother in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? I hate it sometimes because, I just can't take things for face value. And sometimes, it's a gift and a curse. Sometimes, you just have to know how to dissect the information. But with this, sometimes it could be a psyop. You know what I mean? With this injury and some people saying he got the jab and that could be the reason why he he went into the
Mm,
condition that he went into out there on the field. Because how many times we've seen brothers get racked up on the football field? I'm
right.
talking about from high school, college,
Facts. Facts.
outside in the playground. You done seen brothers get hit hard. I done seen a brother run
Facts.
right into a Chevy. We was playing
Right.
on the street. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Exactly.
but
Oh yeah.
but you know,
So
you
what
never
is it?
seen anyone go into cardiac arrest on the actual football field. So a lot of people have been questioning, asking what that reason might be. And we don't want to speculate. We just hoping that the brother gets back up and healthy, and it looks like it's trending into that direction. But
Right.
I just wanted to ask you, what are some of your thoughts and views on that situation?
Well, first and foremost, our thoughts and prayers and higher vibrations go out to the brother and his family. I think it's a wake up call. A lot of times we want to look at certain instances as an isolated thing that's just concerned its own thing, but we know every living thing is bound by a cord to every other living thing, right? So thoughts are alive and they contact other thoughts, right? So I think that this is a wake up moment for us, all of us, and to really process that in the conception of the game, we are expendable. The way that it's put together, you are like um, is
Like a cog in a
a
machine,
cog in a machine. Yeah, I was trying to
right?
think of the word spark plug, right?
Yeah,
I've been moving and grooving, but yeah, you're a spark plug. They plug you in. You provide a spark. When that spark is gone, or they no longer need you, then they just pluck it out, throw it away, and put a new one in. We see how teams trade players, move players, but one thing that I do want to kind of comment on is that the NFL doesn't have a health insurance policy in place that's going to carry these brothers through the totality of their life. And when you put your life on the line, and um, you can be traded at any time, that your contract can be taken from you. There's the way the NFL set up is a lot different than
the
um,
NBA or professional
exactly,
baseball, because
exactly,
a lot of the percentage of the contract is not guaranteed, from what I understand with the NFL contract. So
right,
when you don't have a guaranteed contract, or when you have to reach certain benchmarks in order for you to be able to receive certain amount of money that's in the contract. If you don't reach those benchmarks, or if you get injured, I saw it happen with the guy that plays for the Raiders, Derek Carr, the quarterback.
right.
If he had got hurt before the end of this season, he's guaranteed $40 million or
Right.
something like that, X
Hmm.
amount of dollars. So you know
Right.
what they did? They sent him home. They said you're not gonna get hurt, so we have to guarantee pay you that money. You can just go ahead and go home.
Exactly.
You know,
It's a business. At the end of the day, the NFL is a corporation, it's a business. And even though we may not be in the NFL, a lot of what happens on a larger stage is produced so we can see it and
can you say that
understand that
again,
if
brother Nelson L? Your phone, your feed, it kind of distorted right when you said that. You said something about being produced.
okay. So, we here to go deep, right? So everything that you see in the sports and entertainment world is a production, right? Just like Walt Disney produced
Broadway.
it's
Yeah.
Broadway, right? And so a lot of what happens in that really is for you, the person at home sitting on the couch, when you see a player get fined $50,000, or if they do something wrong, and the way that the league punishes them, that's really to let you know subconsciously, if they'll do this to my favorite athlete, what will they do to me?
Right.
They can, if they can shut up, this guy, he's got millions and millions of dollars, and I'm nobody. So when we watch this 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 dramatization for the sons of men, humans, they putting on a play for us, right? So we got to
Right.
understand that this is an illusion that's created, right? So
And
I guess I guess that go
that's
ahead.
why I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that's why I use the term psyop,
Right.
because they use these brothers to push certain agendas. And you could wholeheartedly believe in whatever the agenda is, as far as Black Lives Matter, or if it's breast cancer research, whatever the case may be, you could believe in that wholeheartedly with your heart, but they use those issues or those topics of discussion, and these brothers champion those, and to get you and I to go ahead and agree with it, or to go, let me think about. I think I do want to put my money towards this. Case in point, the sports betting. You've seen a lot of commercials with the sports betting. I know you're out there in Las Vegas. You see
Right.
Jamie Foxx, you got Kevin Garnett, you got Kevin Hart, and these brothers are making it seem like it's so easy. You just dial it up on your phone and boom, you get the money. But you don't see who can I name? You don't see a guy like Tom Brady or anybody like that pushing people to go into sports betting, because the people that look like Tom Brady, they might very well be involved with sports betting, but it doesn't affect them like it affects you and I. As far as the
Right. Right.
dollar amount, it's not the same in the community. You know what I mean?
That's
So
right.
people like you and I investing in the sports betting and gambling and things and whatnot, it's going to affect us a little bit differently than someone in a different you want to say tax bracket or anything like that. And that's not saying that we don't have money, but just saying, just as a collective, they're using these so-called black entertainers and sports figures to influence us into wanting to go into online gambling. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Because you have to understand, you are the chattel. You are the ant in the ant farm, right? And so it's you that they're marketing to, you that the commercial is for, you that they're trying to entice, you that they want to eat the chicken sandwich, you that
Right. Get
it's
the
it's
buy
not
the
it's
Nikes,
not Tom Brady's, it's not the demographic that Tom Brady can influence. It's the demographic that Marshawn Lynch can influence, or another, somebody that plays in the
Exactly.
NBA. And so they use us to influence us. They put a little energy behind us, but then when we become expendable, we're cast to the side. The healthcare, the social security benefits, things that take place after the game. And please don't let me profess to be an expert on this. I pay attention to the media that comes across my channel. I try to read and dig as much as I possibly can, because I love us, and so I want to be able to hopefully crack that code and bring what I found to the culture, so we can make a more informed decision as we move forward. But the whole system is set up to dupe us. And why I say that is because we're the number one spenders, if you will, right? We don't have, say, per individual as much money as some other demographics, but collectively, we touch $1.5 trillion worth of spending. So all of the little we have, we spend it.
Oh,
Others
yeah.
get money and save money, get money and invest money, get money and keep money. So it's hard to entice them to let go of that dollar. They'll wear the same old raggedy pair of blue jeans with a hole in the knee and chafed at the bottom for 20 years
Right.
and saving that money. We got to go get that new $300-400 pair of blue jeans, or that $500 t-shirt, or what have you. Meanwhile, Sam Walden is becoming a billionaire while we're just financing our oppression. And
Mhm.
so that's kind of what leads us into this next conversation. And I put it out there, it just sounded, we talked offline and it sounded so crazy just to hear it come out as we were talking, but it's almost like we're on a plantation. I know that analogy has been used before, but with sports and with the entertainment and with music, you know, we talked about this on the phone. I'm
Yeah.
kind of jumping around, but let's go ahead and just let the
No.
conversation
But
open
I
up.
agree. I agree exactly. I think we use the analogy of picking cotton. You
That's
know what
right.
I mean? You saw it on 12 Years a Slave, and how many slave movies we've watched over the years. They keep coming out with them, but you
Right.
out there, you picking the cotton. You got to make sure the bugs don't infest the
Well,
cotton. You got to make
let's
sure
get
that.
before the cotton. Let's go back. Um, you have to till the soil. You have to plant the seed. You have to cultivate the plant. The plant has to grow. It has a whole process that comes before picking.
Right.
Picking is kind of towards the end, right? So
Yes.
take the music, for example. We write the music.
You live
We
no, first you
produce the
live the
music.
life. First you live the life that influences you to even pick up that pen and pad They'll
Right.
be like, man, I've been seeing some crazy stuff out here. Let me
Right.
go ahead and put this to paper. And
Right.
then you live that life, then so forth and so on, like you were saying, you know.
Absolutely. So think about it. You write the music, you record the music, you produce the music, and you perform the music, but someone else gets paid off of it. That's
You
picking
so
cotton.
that's you tilling the cotton,
Come
you
on.
nurturing the plant,
Come on.
you're picking the actual cotton from the plant. You're making
That's
sure
right.
the bugs and everything don't infest the plant.
Pricking your fingers, taking
And
losses,
then
catching beat downs,
somebody else gets paid off of
and
that.
then someone else gets paid. So I recently read in a publication that hip hop music, and I asked my Siri to see what she would say, and she got I can't find,
Hmm.
it was so crazy that she didn't want to answer the question,
What'd you
but
say?
the it just said I can't find the result, or it was but then it came back and it's told how popular hip hop was. But I read in a publication not too long ago that hip hop music is America's #1 export. We sell more music, make more money off of music sold and things that are connected to the culture and that industry than we produce any other thing in America, in the United States of America, more than we sell liquor, more than we sell. I'm talking exported out of the country and sold and
Right.
brought money back home from
Because
other.
we don't have an American car industry like we used to have. It's not Ford Motor Company, or how we had back in the
Right,
Detroit Motor days and Motor City.
right.
Right now,
So
our biggest export is hip hop, the
hip
culture.
hop and I would say sports and entertainment are close second and third, or somewhere in the top five, if you
Right.
will. Now, the thing that is unique is that you can't get this kind of product nowhere else on the planet. Hip hop is indigenous to our experience, to
North
us,
America.
to and to our culture. Like you're not gonna go to China and find Big Daddy Kane. You won't go to somewhere in Africa and find Rakim, the God MC, or anybody that's out today, a Lil Wayne, a Jay-Z, whoever, because that person was birthed through the experience of our culture. So you can't get that nowhere else. So what's happening is someone else has a product that is exclusively unique to us that's getting paid off of us.
Mhm.
Imagine if we just owned and controlled what was produced or brought back financially or
Through hip
profited
hop.
from hip hop. The music, think about if the slaves got all the money that came from cotton, right? We have to understand that cotton shifted the global economy. It wasn't just the North and the South. It was India, Africa, Europe, Australia. Everybody on the planet came up as a result of how much cotton our ancestors picked. We did not receive a penny, a share. We worked for food, clothing, and shelter.
Or even the tobacco. You talk about the cotton, the tobacco. There's no reason why a black family
Tobacco, sugar cane.
a
Now,
so-called black family should have some stake in the tobacco industry based on the work and the that the ancestors put in to make the tobacco industry what it is today. You know what I mean? There's no
well,
reason why it's not where's the black cigarette companies? I see you brothers love to smoke them squares and the Newports
thanks.
and whatnot. There should be a black tobacco company. We should.
Well, right. We're not out of the slave conversation yet. Why I say that is because we haven't talked about sharecropping. So now how is it that at the end of this artist's career or life, or after they gave you everything that they could give you, now all of a sudden the artist owes the label?
Hmm.
You have sold 1 million copies of whatever, or you went platinum 4 times. You die not only penniless, but you die in debt, or you
Right.
change planes in debt. Yeah, he owed the label $2 million. So it's we're at a point in time now, and it's a beautiful thing because we're waking up to this now. So we're starting to process. We don't need the label. We don't need the conglomerates that we thought we needed at one point in time, which brings me to the conversation of brand loyalty, right? We feel like if we are connected to this particular brand, then it's worth broken bones, it's worth life and limb, it's worth disrespecting ourselves, disrespecting others. You know, one of the things that I think Dave Chappelle had a big issue with was uh not being able to be creative in the way he wanted to. They wanted to control that because they thought they were paying him. And let me say this while the thought hits me. We just rolling right now.
Yeah.
You know, I heard Charles Barkley say, and I know this is old, so you know, I don't want to just think that we ain't getting over it. We understand we're moving forward.
Right.
But Charles Barkley said about Kyrie Irving, he said that man paid him $40 million. He can't take that man's money and then talk about his family. He's Jewish. Did you hear? You know who I'm talking about? When
Charles I remember that Shaq and Charles Barkley had some choice words for.
So I don't have any problems with Kyrie or the Jewish community or anything like that. So I want to say that first and foremost. But I want us to think. I'm talking to us. I'm not even looking at them. How much money do you think Kyrie Irving made for the franchise? Way more than $40 million. So while you talking about the money he took, how much money did he make?
Right.
If he made 40 million, you better believe. Think about yourself at work. You making $15 an hour. If you're getting how much money are you making for your job? You work sales.
Right.
You work sales. You get a little commission check. They gave you $1,000, but you made them $100,000. So if Kyrie Irving took $40 million and you think he should be quiet because you gave me this money and I owe you, how much money did he make for them? How many jerseys has he sold for them? How many t-shirts? How many tickets? How many pay-per-view packages? How many season
tickets? Yeah, all of that. And the thing is,
so we keep thinking that, oh, we're getting a hourly wage, so we have to close our mouth, or they're giving us pennies that we have to be beholden unto them or unto the establishment or the powers that be, if you will. But think what we're giving them. There's no comparison.
So how can you? That's never in the discussion, though. That's not even in the lexicon of the discussion when Charles Barkley and Shaq are sitting there debating, what's going on with Kyrie Irving. They don't talk about that. They say, how much money did you get? So it shows you that even Charles Barkley, at his age and the experience and the knowledge that he's gained being in the NBA and in these circles and in these rooms that we're not privy to, he's still looking at himself from a slave mentality. You know what I mean? Absolutely. He's still the one who's being lended to and not the lender. You know what I mean? He still looks at it like, well, I should be grateful for you giving me this opportunity and giving me this, and when I've given you so much more. You know?
He is and let me say this real quick too, because I know I'm gonna sound sound like I'm contradicting myself, but he is an example of what happens to a person that goes through the system, if you will, right? So you're just responding and behaving accordingly. It's like Pavlov's dogs. I don't know if anybody in the audience is familiar with that, but there was a scientist and he came up with a system where he would ring a bell and then he would feed his dogs. Well, when he rang the bell, the dogs got used to being fed. They hear the bell, they get fed. Well, he took the food away. He would ring the bell and they would all start salivating, start, where's the food at? And so they became conditioned and then therefore controlled or trained to move and behave and respond and act in a certain way when the bell rings. Kind of like you were in school a little bit, when you were in high school or when you were in junior high and the bell rang, you responded a certain way.
When that bell
jumped up or you sat down and got quiet.
Right.
You were in the class a little early. You in there talking, writing a love letter to the girl up front. The bell ring, you respond a certain way. And so that's what's going on with our brothers, our beloved brothers. I love Charles Barkley, Shaq. the whole
Kenny and
nine
all them
yards.
brothers, man, they good people.
And we can't get rid of them. They us. And so we just have to recondition us. It's like reprogramming your mind, right? And we can get into Ye and a few
Yeah,
other things.
that's what I got next.
But we're getting ready to reprogram into that. But I want to talk, as we segue into Ye, let's talk about brand loyalty, right? So I remember when I was growing up, the big three was Nike, Reebok, and Adidas.
Yeah.
I didn't want to wear no Adidas. I didn't want to wear no Reeboks. I only wanted to wear Nike.
Right.
That's it. But it was inculcated. This is what Michael Jordan wears. This is what the fastest track people run track.
Yeah.
This is the football
the best basketball players wear this.
This is who wears it. This is what I'm wearing. I didn't want none of that other stuff. And I wouldn't mix one brand with the other.
You can't wear the Nike kicks with the Adidas socks now.
Couldn't do it. Could not do that. And so we have something called brand loyalty, right? When a brand gets the Asiatic man and woman, the Asiatic family, we don't switch up. We stick to that.
We're loyal to that like God.
We are so loyal that if someone tries to defect from the brand, we'll think bad of them. What? You got some pro kids.
I mean, look at history. With brothers up on the East Coast, up in New York, they had an actual gang based on polo. Ralph Lauren Polo, the Low Life boys, Low Life, right. Polo, Low Life, and they was out there robbing and snatching and cutting and shooting and fighting
doing
and stealing
everything
behind Polo,
behind the brand. Now, when you look at other cultures, and I think this was something that Ye was saying. No, who said that? I think Dave Chappelle. Dave said, and it's ironic that Reebok's made by Germans, right? And if you do a little research, you'll understand that Adidas owns Reebok.
Yeah.
So Reebok and Adidas. Reebok is a German name, owned by a German company, right?
Adidas, right.
Right. Reebok and Adidas. Well, when we're talking about cultural appropriation, we're talking about brand loyalty. Guess what? You don't see a bunch of people who went through a horrible experience like the Holocaust saying, I'm not going to wear Adidas. They still wearing Adidas. They're still wearing, they're going to go with whatever's they can make some money with, whatever's popular. They're not sticking to, they don't get inculcated like we do, right? Think about who makes Mercedes Benz. You know what I'm saying? You don't see no Jewish brother like, I'm not driving no Maybach. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it because of Hitler or whoever. They're going to buy that Benz, but they don't buy more Benzes than we buy.
No. They don't make it a thing. They don't rock
the Asiatic. They will save that money, but when they have an opportunity, they're not going to not buy a brand or not push a brand because of they're been inculcated or brainwashed to accept and promote only one thing. That's the same way with our politics.
Well, I think one thing with those different cultures and those people that you're talking about, they don't look at a brand unified. It's not a unified outlook when they look at a particular brand. Like with people like you and I, we have the way I feel about Air Jordans is probably the way you feel about Air Jordans. And it's probably the same way the brother down the street feels about Air Jordans.
Right.
Like it's a collective mind state when we talk about these brands in regards to our people. So when we look at certain brands, it's not just the individual like, oh, Mike, he just loved BMWs. No, this is a class lifestyle decision that people make because they know when I ride through the hood in that BMW, everybody's going to look at it the same way. Right. Like, man, that's so-and-so right there in that clean white BMW. It's not just going to be another brother driving down the street. So we look at brands collectively here. You know what I mean? And sometimes that can be like I said, a gift and a curse. It just depends on how you look at it.
We're such a different animal, if you will, when it comes to branding and labeling and, even down to the being branded like an animal, like a cow gets branded, we're different when it comes to that. So different, in fact, that they teach courses on how to sell to the Black man. All name brands, don't give them nothing cheap. you know, because he has to have these particular, you know, status symbols in order to feel um, uh, equal or
Right.
equivalent
Right.
to the rest of the culture.
Or at
He
least,
doesn't have a
or at
national,
least feel better than you.
at least
You know
feel
what I
better
mean?
than somebody else in his neighborhood.
At
Yeah.
least better than you.
You know, that he can't look down on nobody else. So, you know, he's got to find somebody that looks like him that he can look down on. And, you know, he'll do that with this car, with, you know, whatever. And so we got to come out of that. And part of that is getting into Kanye West. Now, yay. So let me say formerly known as Kanye West. I don't want to be
Right.
disrespectful. A
Right.
lot of us think that the man crazy, he's mental, you know, he's all these things. First of
Right.
all, we
Right.
love you, bruh. You know, we love Kanye, and I love the brother just for inspiring thought. Anything that's gonna make us think, man, I'm not surprised or shocked about anything that really comes out, but if it inspires thought, then I'm with it. You are grown enough to discern what is going to work for you and what is not.
Right.
However, you may not have contemplated some of the concepts that are coming out because you've been going to work, you've been uh, you've been picking cotton, kind of, so to speak, on the corporate plantation. Now, when you're an artist and you're blessed and fortunate, like, yay, he got time to travel the world. He's over in London and Paris, and he's seeing things outside of this country. He's coming from an educated background where his mother's educated, his dad's educated. So as you are looking through a different lens, you see things differently. So let me just kind of share a little bit on my perspective of how that whole thing is breaking down and why. And I'm looking at it for us. Everything we see is for us. You are the main thing that we have to really process. You. The battle is spiritual over your mind, your heart, your soul. If they can capture that, then they have you. And I'll get into big tech programming and big tech brainwashing here after a while too, if we got time. We may not have time. That's
We
another
good. We
conversation.
good.
Okay. So what I want to say is if you make the music, like we talked about with the
Right.
cotton, if you make the music, produce the music, you've been all around the world. You have a distributor for it. You can market it, you can promote it. Why do you need the label? If you can make the shoes, you are the brand. Your face is the logo. Your name is the brand. And so if you have that, something like Yeezys, why do you need Adidas? You don't.
You take
And
ownership of yourself and your own product.
absolutely. So
Right.
you got your own music, you got your own fashion, you got these things that you can produce yourself. And you partner with a global conglomerate or a big corporation, if you will. And whatever happens, I don't know the intricate details. They say the devil is in the details.
Right.
And you decide, I don't want to rock with you no more. They have the right to say, we're not going to let you out of your contract. You have to stay giving me your intellectual property. You have to stay, you know, producing for us. And again, with the Kyrie concept, if they gave him $1 billion, how much money do you think they made off of him? If they give you 1 million, you better know they gonna make
Oh yeah.
10 million.
Of course. Of
Right?
course.
It's the same concept with banking. The when you put $1,000 in the bank, they can loan out $10,000. You know,
Based
or
on
what
your 1,000.
right. You represent a dollar sign. Um, you know, there was an old saying, and I'm not pointing a finger at anybody. It's not an old saying, it's in the Bible. So those my Bible people can back me up on this. It says, resist the devil and he will flee from you, right? Now, when you really break that particular passage down, what does that mean? That means if he can't use you, he don't want nothing to do with you, right?
Right.
If you say I'm not going to let you use me, then he don't want nothing to do with you. I can't make you do what I want. You're not find somebody who has no who the that corporate vampire, if you will, has befriended that can't do nothing for them. They don't hang around people that can't do nothing. And
Right. Right.
so if they're giving you something, you better believe they're getting something. and
Oh
they're
yeah. Oh
probably
yeah.
getting more than what they're giving.
Yeah.
Anytime artists can go platinum or go diamond or tour all over the world and they end up owning the label, then I think that they're getting way more than they're giving. I seen a interview with Prince, and Prince said, you know, I got to looking at the contract. They was charging me such and such an hour for studio time. The studio's at my house.
And they charging
I'm
him to go to the studio at home.
you charging me $1,000 an hour for studio time. The studio is in my basement. I built the studio. I play all the instruments. I engineer it. I mix it. I write it
Record
and
everything. Yeah.
produce it and perform it. You're charging me to live in my to when I you can't. So we want out the contract. We're not letting you out. My birth name is, and not me, but I'm talking in the presence of my brother Prince. My birth name is Prince Rogers Nelson.
Yes.
I was born Prince. You have now reduced me to a symbol because you said I can't even use my own name.
Right.
They own your name. That's a cold game when you think about it.
And it's a word that they use too. It's like
Perpetuity.
perpetuity.
Come
That's
on.
like forever.
Yeah. Throughout the universe.
Yeah, from here
they will put not only your name but your likeness, so you can't even look like you without them getting paid. But we're talking about them peanuts that they gave us, the sharecropper. Come on now. So we have to wake up and understand, if we just control the things that we produce, then we would run the industry, which basically means we would have a global presence and do everything. The devil made God famous. Now it's God's time.
Now let me while we're still on the Ye topic,
Yeah.
do you think, because I do you think that the media is vilifying this brother because of what you just said?
If they can't make no money off you, they don't want to mess with you. I mean, that's really what it is.
So basically,
but then it becomes even a bigger thing.
Uh-huh.
And that is influence. When they have you in certain positions and they control your influence, you have handlers, you have people that have stylists, you know, they dress you, they handle you, they, you know,
tell you what to say, tell you what not to say.
You know, you and I think we talked about Michael Jordan, and
Uh-huh.
he's our brother too. Love Michael Jordan, but you never really heard him having too much to say in the media about anything. Now, at one point in time, brothers was killing over tennis shoes, his shoes, killing over starter jackets that had Chicago Bulls on it.
I remember that.
Literally. And he didn't come out and say anything. Now, I'm not saying he wanted to or didn't want to, but I'm almost certain, and like almost certain to 99.9, percent, someone either contacted him and said, listen, we're going to be quiet on this, or either he said to himself, and once you get trained up, good enough, you get inculcated. I don't want to make it.
It's a business decision.
Once you get that way, then you say, "Nah, I'm not messing up my money," and then boom, you're silent on it, and you let the wave pass, and you continue doing what you're doing. Meanwhile, chaos is taking place. Rome is burning all around you, but you're in a good position, so no stress over here. I think that happens in more times than we even know it. And it happens to artists and athletes and entertainers, I'm sure, in some instances where they want to say something, they want to speak out because that happened in my hometown, or that happened.
Have you? I didn't mean to cut your wisdom.
No,
have you ever seen like a certain artist or an entertainer, or maybe even a former athlete, and they're coming out and they're saying all this stuff, kind of saying the same thing that you and I are saying, and you're like, why wasn't he saying this when he was in the league, or why he didn't say this when he was hot? You know, you see Larry Johnson, the guy who used to play for the Chiefs. He's saying a whole lot of things in regards to the NFL and a lot of different conspiratory things that people are saying, you know, in real time.
Right.
Or you see
You
an
know,
artist that's not selling records anymore, not rapping like or not singing like a Jaguar Wright, like
right.
a lady like that who's not really on the charts anymore, but she got so much to say in regards to this because when you're not at the table no more, you can speak freely. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean?
Well, you know, you really think
Or
about
when
it.
you're not on the menu.
Exactly. Exactly. It's so crazy. I had a thought. It just left me, but it doesn't matter because it is pulling me to this next thought, which is cancel culture, right? You know, there's a whole culture out there that, you know, they try to control you with that you'll get canceled. And, you know, just a thought that I want us to think, who really, again, like with the money and who really owes who really can cancel who? If we're the number one consumer on the planet, we can cancel them. If all of us right now said we're not going to eat at McDonald's, no Asiatic will eat at McDonald's for all of 2023. Do you know bankruptcy will take place for McDonald's?
Right.
Bankruptcy will happen. So who can cancel who? However, with us being divided, with someone controlling our influencers, with somebody else pulling strings behind the curtain or the veil, then they control our influence. They control the masses. The influencers control the people.
It's like an
Right?
algorithm.
It's
Like
an
an
algorithm,
Yeah.
and you better believe that we've been studied. There's no accident. The same thing takes place in politics, that takes place in music, that takes place in sports. Think about in so many thoughts in our sports and entertainment. We it was almost like when once we started playing ball with them is when we really lost. When you go back and you think about it,
the Negro Leagues.
I was watching, you know, I stay studying every day. So everybody knows about the Tulsa Black Wall Street
Right.
massacre. But what they don't know is the survivors and some of the ancestors of those who survived, right after that happened, they went back and rebuilt that up and was getting it back swinging again. What knocked it all down was desegregation. When we thought that it would be better to go into the European store and buy our shampoo and toiletries or whatever and not shop with each other. When we were shopping with us, the wealth stayed in our community for several revolutions or several cycles. We had libraries, theaters, movies. Even when we talk about the Negro League, the athletes in the Negro League and Bingo Long All-Star Baseball was better than the athletes in what they call imagine we had our own football league, had our own baseball league, own basketball league.
Right.
Do you not think we would?
They could compete with the NFL, with the NFL being 70% what they call black? I think at least 70%.
If we had our own league and controlled it and played ball and said we're not trying to not play with the NFL wouldn't want to play ball with us because they couldn't win. Don't you know that when Jackie Robinson left Kansas City, he wasn't even the best player on the team. He was just the most docile. He was the one that they thought, well, he's not going to fight back. Satchel Paige gonna go up there and throw a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. And when he strike out a few of these Europes, they're gonna get mad at him and they're gonna jump on him. Josh Gibson is gonna keep hitting the ball farther than Bo Jackson.
Farther than Babe Ruth and all of them.
Man, listen, that youngster was slapping the ball from out of Waterway Park in Kansas City, Kansas, where they practice at, all the way to 18th and Vine in Kansas City, Missouri. He was hitting the ball so hard, he's knocking the leather off the ball, man. They was finding the ball with the leather. How many
knocking the lining out there,
knocking the stitches off the ball, man? That's what we was doing. and integration, we lost our bingo long all-stars. We lost the Kansas City
Lost
Monarchs.
the
We lost
identity. Yeah.
and
Lost a
so
big identity.
and also with that, the sports agents came, the contracts came, the everybody advisors, the
All these
handlers,
hanger-ons start coming around.
listen, and all of a sudden you running the ball, getting broke up, beat up, and somebody else is still getting a lion's share of your check. And if you act up, you get hit for $50,000, $60,000. You took a knee, that's $100. We're gonna suspend you for 4 games. Yeah, you done lost $1 million because we're there. It's an example to the rest of the world. If they just sat down, whoever your favorite quarterback is or your favorite running back, then they know that they can. It's a subliminal game that's getting played. So we have to wake up to the fact that we are the counselors. We can cancel anybody out there like Nino Brown when he was walking around the table.
Cancel that it. You know
Cancel
what I mean?
that.
But just while we're on
anything I'm talking about Nike, Reebok, Adidas. I'm talking about any record label. I'm talking about anything that's sold at the grocery store.
right
If we don't mess with it, it gets canceled.
now,
It's over.
while we're sticking on the topic of sports and entertainment, I wanted to get to a topic in entertainment that your expertise, which is the world of hip hop. You know, right now we're seeing a lot going on as far as these people getting caught up as doing different things with the RICO Act going on. I think the brother just left the line, but I just wanted to say, it's a lot.
I can still hear you, bro.
Okay, I didn't know.
My phone rang. I should have said something to people. Don't put that on the
No, you
pause.
good.
But
I didn't know if you were still on the line. Now, but we seeing a lot going on.
My demo ain't coming back though. Let me see. I'm trying to see if I can get back on the screen, y'all. Hold on. Wow, let me see. We working with it. Go ahead.
I hear you clear. But while I got you here though, I wanted to tap in. I wanted to speak about the this RICO Act going on. We've seen a lot going on with these brothers getting caught up with different situations on the streets and how that's filtering into the music. And the streets and hip hop has always had a close relationship, but right now it seems like a lot of criminality is being involved with this. So, what's your take or what's your perspective on this? And is this a concentrated effort to try to change, the freedom of speech? I don't know what's going on with this, but how do you see this playing out?
Again, it's I think that it is a it's I don't want to use the term conspiracy, but I think it is an attempt to control our influencers. See, the thing that even more than money, once you know that a person has a certain amount of influence, then that person becomes dangerous, or um, they can become an asset for you. They can help you out, or they can be very dangerous to whatever system or whatever side of the fence that you're on. And so when we're talking about this hip hop music, we're talking about a culture, a genre of music that is the most celebrated form of music on the planet. It's not even in question. Rap music has surpassed every other form of music in regard to the amount of money that it brings in, to the amount of influence that it has, and to how it controls our culture, which is us. The music itself controls us. And so, who has their hand on that, who controls that, controls us. And so, when you have somebody like a Young Thug and he has a lot of influence, um, then I think if I was in the mindset of the opposition, I'd say, okay, what we got to do is we got to put something in place, which is how we always get whooped up anyway. They say the pen is mightier than the sword. Right. So we get pencil whipped, so to speak. They come up with laws, just like back in, we was talking about slavery, right after slavery, before slavery was abolished, I'll say, there wasn't no loitering laws and jaywalking and, but once brothers got out from that yoke, if you will, then all these laws got created that was, uniquely designed to have a certain result. And so these RICO acts, they got federal RICO acts. They also have state RICO
State
acts.
Rico, that's the one that the
A-
brother's going through in Georgia right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And basically, they both move the same way. And it says, we can get you and the DJ and the promoter and anybody that says they work with you or have worked with you or what have you. And then what we're going to do is we're going to listen to your last album that you recorded. And we're going to take that to court and play it
Right.
and let a bunch of middle-aged Europeans listen to your lyrics and see how they feel about that.
Right.
And and so what it is a way to, on paper, eliminate a potential threat.
Mm. Now,
And
and,
go ahead.
I will say that some of these artists, they do bear some responsibility in regards to how they move, because it's a lot of these brothers, it seems like they really haven't been involved in what they're involved in until
Mhm.
they got in the industry. And it's not saying that that's a lifestyle for anybody to be living, but when you hear people on recorded jail phone calls divulging information that's detrimental to the case, that shows you that these brothers really wasn't knowing the total capacity of what they was actually doing, and
Right.
not really knowing how to actually move in that space. So you seeing people get in trouble for certain things that could have been avoided, that
Well,
shouldn't have happened,
a lot of what we're dealing with too is ignorance, one, and we're also dealing with the David and Goliath type of a scenario. The system is a juggernaut, and you just a little guy with a couple of homeboys from Atlanta. You think
Hmm.
you don't have the resources. You ain't tapping phones and, setting up plants and put, moles in place and, calling people and saying, you told me that story. You can tell it, JT, the bigger figure story, but they don't know nothing about that. It's almost just like us, right? Um, we didn't realize what we was born into. We got to live and then we realized, man, they treating me different for some reason over
Right.
here. The Bible says, you born into sin or whatever. When you're born, we didn't realize, okay, I'm a male, number one. That's a threat. I'm melanated. That's a threat. I'm intelligent. Oh no, I'm
Right.
these things we didn't have any idea was going to be detrimental to our security, our survival, our safe passage in this valley of death, if you will. Just like there was a degree in biblical days where it happened in a couple of times. One, it happened with Moses, who lived 2,000 years before Jesus, where the Pharaoh said, hey, we're going to kill all the male children under a certain age. We're going to kill them. It happened again with Jesus, another example. Both of them, where'd they go? They both went into Africa. Moses went into Africa because obviously he becomes the son of the Pharaoh. Jesus goes into Africa because he's hiding from King Herod at that time. But the same thing is happening with our children, and it's the male child, because when you're looking at the I don't want to say the poles, but we are the polar opposite, if you will, of the ruling class right now. Who you would say is running the world is a European WASP. That means white Anglo-Saxon Protestant Christian male. That's what WASP means, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant Christian. And so I could not be further from that. So when you look at how many of us are incarcerated right now, you're talking about Young Thug going to jail. We are basically still in bondage.
Hmm.
There are more of us in prison right now than there were slaves in the 1800s. So I want you to think about that. More of us in prison right now
Right.
than there were slaves picking cotton.
And what was that amendment, or that when they abolished slavery, slavery became illegal unless you were convicted of a crime and sent to prison, then they can make you a slave again. So a lot
Right.
of those brothers in there are still under slavery, working
Oh,
for.
you're definitely under slavery.
Yeah.
You're not voting in there. You're not having no say so of what.
And you working
Yeah,
in
and
there
you're
too.
working. And even for the brothers back in the day, we thought we were free, but we was really never free. The word emancipate does not mean free. If you have a child that's 15, 16 years old, he or she's unruly. They won't listen. They yelling, fighting with you, and they tell you they hate you.
They want to be
You
emancipated.
you can go to that court and you can say, this child wants to be emancipated. What that means is you are no longer the responsibility of your parent, but now you are a ward of the state, or you are the responsibility of the state. So what happened was we went from being owned by an individual to
To being
becoming
owned by the
state
state.
property. State
Right,
property.
right.
Absolutely. And to show you that how true that is, the government then paid slave owners for the loss of property. They was able to file insurance claims
Insurance.
for losing slaves, and the government paid them. So we never got free. We thought that the Emancipation Proclamation meant freedom, but it just meant that we was now the responsibility of the state. Because
You go to work now.
back in the day, if those slave ran off, that runaway slave was the responsibility of the master. So the slave owner could go find them, beat them, whip them, put them in
Back.
jail, put them in a box. You seen
Yeah.
Django where they had the girl in the sweat box.
Yeah.
That's like being in a prison cell.
Like
They
being
could,
in the hole.
yeah, like being in the hole. So it just went from them doing that as individuals to the government now putting you in the hole, forcing you to work for free, forcing you to do whatever they want you to do while you don't get paid and while they get paid. Back to the music industry. I know for a fact with this last project that I have been pushing, I was releasing music on YouTube for free. The institutions, the prisons, are taking music off of YouTube and selling it to the inmates.
Free
and
music from YouTube.
And
They're
then
charging inmates to get on YouTube to listen to music.
What they do is they'll take the song off of YouTube, put it onto a tablet or a kiosk, and charge the artist $2 or $3 a song so they can download the song and put it into their MP3 player. However, they have to buy at least 3 songs every time or whatever, and they control what they listen to. But I noticed they was taking, some music I produced, and they was pushing it through there, but they wasn't paying me. And so not only are they're making money off of us in every way, shape, form, or fashion. And even if they do pay you, so if you have a new project out, you and I put a project out, and we charge $10 for the project. If we put it in the institutions, which has got to go in there because so many of us are in there and they want to hear it, they're going to charge them $18 or $19 or $20 for the album we're charging $10 for. So every time we get paid, they get paid.
They get paid.
And that goes into the Leo Cohens and those other CEOs who are networking with these social media platforms and doing the streams and the downloads and all of that. They seen that the big record labels were falling off. They seen that artists was buying out their own contracts and going independent, like Yo Gotti, like Slim Thug, like 100 other artists, and doing the independent thing. And then it said, well, we're still gonna, what we'll do is if we can't control that, we'll control the platforms on which their music has to be streamed and downloaded through. So whenever they get paid, we're gonna still get them. So we got to take it, to another level. And we talked about.
And while we own it, while you're talking about taking it to another level with the music, you and I had talked yesterday, or it might have been the day before, and you was informing me about I don't know if it's a digital compilation that you're working on, but you're working with brothers up in Canada, you're working with brothers in New York, brothers in Florida, Texas, California, all around the country. And you're talking about a conscious compilation. You know what I mean? You're dealing with a lot of Moorish brothers, a lot of conscious brothers that are coming together to put this music together, to put a different image and a different message out there. And it's not, it's not corny, it's real, it's street. is good music. You know what I mean? And just talk about that. And when can we expect that? What are we going to expect? And how you going to be bringing that to the table? You know, what platform is that going to be on?
Facts on facts. Everything you just said, that part. Let me give you the end game, and then I'm gonna walk you back to the beginning. The end game is to shift the collective consciousness of the entire culture, thus boosting our economic opportunities, our intellectual experiences, as well as putting us back at the table amongst the affairs of men. So having some say so over what happens in regard to our narrative is the goal. Those are the goals. And so what I'm looking at right now, I'm looking at the whole culture of rap right now, and I'm thinking in my mind like every so many generations, you'll see the culture shift. So when we look back through the lens and we say, okay, it started in New York, but after about 10 years, it shifted and it went to the West Coast. And that, kind of did a thing. And then so 10 years or a few decades, generation went by and it shifted to the South. Well, I want this time to be the time when we look back and we say, when did the culture shift? When did it change? When did we go from the drill music, the drill team getting active, in the studio? And when did we go from the gangster rap era to this conscious era to another era, whatever it's going to be, right? Which I'm telling you right now, I'm giving you a stock tip. It's the conscious era of time. It's the wake up time. It's the age of Aquarius. All the prophetical writings and renderings have pointed to the day that we're living in now. It's our time. It's us. This is that time. So the next level of music has to reflect the consciousness. When we look back and we look at our experience from the 70s, the 60s, the 40s, even the 20s, even, the music was a reflection of the state of mind. So when we think about the Vietnam War, you think about all the Marvin Gaye music that came out in the war. What is it good for? Absolutely
Yeah.
nothing. Say it again. And then you think about, okay, when we shifted to the gangster era, to the drill music, then the murder rate went up. The amount of brothers incarcerated went up. The amount of carjacking, shooting, just cases, the courts filled up. The music was the soundtrack. The music was reflective of the culture. The culture was pushing the music, and the music pushes the culture. That's how it works. And somebody knew that. This is not didn't happen by a coincidence.
It was
Somebody
by
knew if we
design, of
if
course.
we change up the music, then this is also another form of control. It's
Mhm.
also another form of of manipulating that mindset, the spirituality, keeping your frequency resonating at a low vibration. We can control the frequencies of a whole group of people. That's big science. That's not no little punk stuff. That's some Nikola Tesla, Albert Einstein stuff. We want to control the minds of a people, of a whole demographic.
Facts.
You can do it, absolutely. And I'm kind of bouncing, but that gets me to this big tech programming, right? See, you used to have to walk outside your front door to get programmed because we're programmed by the things that we see, the images and the pictures and the experiences that we have. So you had to go play to get some experience. The programming was the McDonald's sign, the golden arches. You see that. And all, I wasn't hungry at first, but now I'm hungry. I want some French fries. Or the baby that can't read knows that McDonald's. I want
Right.
McDonald's. Two
Right.
years old. That was the programming. Well, the programming now is in your hand. You don't have to go outside. When you put your AirPods in and you get on your phone and you scroll through TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, the
YouTube,
programming
all that.
is the
Mhm.
programming is right in your hand. And think about yourself. I want you to step out of your body and look down on yourself when you get caught up into this social media demonstration. I'm just coming off of a whole year sabbatical of no social media. Only thing I had was a YouTube account so I could put videos on there. But that's it. When you catch yourself, look at yourself and understand that every image you see, you're programming yourself. Because once you see something, you can't unsee that. Once you hear something, you can't unhear it. No matter how low the frequency, no matter how ugly or nasty or bad it is, it's in you now. You're being programmed by these platforms. But also, when you step out, listen to yourself, because every time you're looking at that picture, you're having a thought, man, look at this dude. The dude think he's somebody. Man, look at this.
And
look at her.
It breeds negativity, you know, like
it's in
what
you,
they say.
You're in your own mind talking to yourself. You somewhere
say,
totally quiet with AirPods in, with your phone in your hand, hating on somebody.
And then it's like, you know, you seeing that it could be somebody that you don't even have ill will towards or anything like that, but you see them every single day. You get up to brush your teeth, you looking at your phone, you see him again. The next day you about to get in the shower, you see him again. And like the old saying goes, familiarity breeds contempt. So
absolutely.
Just by me associating, man, now I'm like, man, look at him, man, look at these fools, man.
And we have to understand we're transferring energy. Energy transfers through the phone. It transfers through the text message. It transfers through the visual images. You could wake up and be having a good day, and open up your Facebook or whatever social media, and somebody say something negative to you, and it messes
up your whole day.
That energy done transferred through, and you might have got a picture. You posted a picture, and you might got 100 likes. You beautiful and gorgeous and everything, and one person get on there and say something bad. It
messes up the whole vibe.
It messes up the vibe. so we're going out here to be programmed, manipulated. You was happy, now you upset.
But the cold part about it, Nelson L, man, we offering ourselves up to the plate.
We are.
But you know, put me on the menu every day. You know what I mean?
How many relationships do you think are ruined? You in court, your whole household is on the line, about to get ripped apart, children taken from you, house taken, cars, whatever, because of Facebook. Yeah, he was cheating on Facebook, or she was on Instagram posing for the gram. How many households, how many couples, how many relationships have been ruined in our community behind social media? How many beefs have been started online, talking about internet gangsters that spilled out?
Actually died behind it.
And people died. That's what you hear Lil Durk talking about. That's what you hear all these artists talking about, you posting this and you doing that, creating a meta universe of low frequency that spills out into our reality. And somebody else is controlling that. So we have to have our own platforms. We have to have our own distribution. We have to have our own streaming networks where we can control the narrative, because we're being programmed through big tech. And we're being sedated.
I totally agree with that.
And we're being sedated through big pharmacy. So now, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's why I appreciate what you're doing with this project that you're talking about bringing to the table, because it's kind of like what we was talking about with the brother Ye. You're taking ownership of your art form. You're taking ownership of your own creativity, and you're saying, like, you know, I'm going to manifest this in the way that I see fit, and I'm not going to try to conform or fit into a box of what you think a brother should be represented on this microphone or on this stage or on this video. I'm going to give the message that I feel that my people need. I'm not going to give a contrived message of this is what they're rapping about now, so I'm going to be rapping about this, or this is what they're talking about, or
absolutely
talking about sliding and doing this, and I'm sliding and I'm doing that. Like,
absolutely,
we're going to take it back, and we're going to take ownership of our own minds, because that's where everything starts. You know,
this is where the you know, every war, before it really gets popping hard, you know, it bubbles for a while, and then you have a revolutionary appear. Huey P. Newton was a revolutionary, and Chuck D and Rakim Allah. You got certain people that understand that when we call for the shift, you're doing something revolutionary. We're shifting the game. We're on the front line. And the thought is we own it. We create it, we produce it. So it's not hard to take back. It's simply just connecting with those who have like energy. So we can pull that energy and produce the music that gives us the result that we want. We talked offline about a word called propaganda. See, the thing about people, and honors again the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the instructions tell us that man loves to follow and not to lead. So and they recognize that. All they got to do is get you headed in the right direction. Then you'll start just kind of doing it yourself. You'll be self-governed, if you will. You'll just follow along. I think they use the term sheeple. I know that also works in reverse. What goes down also goes up.
Yeah, you can brainwashing is not a bad word, because you can actually brainwash yourself in the right way.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. So we're going to create the kind of propaganda that inspires others to wake up, to investigate, to do research, to really just start to think. Noble Drew Ali also said, and I'm just going to peep heavy road Noble Drew Ali because one is his birthday, but he also said, if I could get my people to think, then they will save themselves. I liken where we're into what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. likened us to. He says, I regret I have integrated my people into a burning house or a burning building. I'm paraphrasing. But if you was in a burning house or a burning building and you were unconscious, you probably are going to just burn up. Most likely, you're just going to die right there. But if I can make you aware that the house is on fire, if I can get you to think, I don't gotta save you. You're gonna go run out the back door or jump out the window or do whatever you gotta do to save yourself. So we're just trying to wake up the minds and realize in sports, we run this. In entertainment, we run this. In politics, even, we run this. Prophet Noble Drew Ali talked about something called block voting. So we don't vote as individuals. We vote as a group. We don't have to be a Republican or a Democrat. We can be independent and say, okay, we'll sit down and see who's going to offer us the most. As a collective, if you give us what we want, you got to have 50 million. How many of us is it now? 40, 50 million of us now. Who don't want 50 million votes to assist their campaign from the number one consumers on the planet? The ones that's going to wear your t-shirt, that's going to wear your red hat, that's going to...
Oh man, you see how they was loving Biden when he was running?
So what you say, bro?
No, I just said, you see how they went hard for Joe Biden when him and Kamala Harris, when he announced Kamala Harris as his running mate?
Listen, bro, I'm going to tell you right now how the other side is set up. The other side is 50-50, right? That's why it's the wheat and the tare. Anybody who knows the Bible, a little bit of Bible, I'm from that era where we had to study that Bible.
Oh yeah.
There's a story in the Bible called the wheat and the tare. I don't know if you're familiar with that story.
I am.
But when you plant a seed of wheat and it pushes through the soil, a tare, for those who don't know, is a weed. The wheat and the tare look exactly the same.
Right. You don't know what's what.
You can't distinguish until it fully unfolds and you say, okay, this is a shock of wheat. This other thing is a weed. But at some point in time, you have to let that be. You have to let it grow. You got to let that weed grow right next to the wheat, because you don't want to destroy that which is good, because that's going to create the bread that you're eating from.
Right.
And so you have to get it to a certain point. So that's how I feel about certain groups of people, right? We got the wheat and the tare. And so when we realize that we are collective and we are united and not divided, then what happens is we'll start to be able to distinguish who is for us and who is against us. But right now we're so divided, and that's also done by design. You know,
Oh
we
yeah.
talked a little bit about desegregation, but just like I said, everything is designed to market and promote to you. Everything is also designed to um, benefit, if you will, off of who you are. So the political game, the prison industrial complex, you know,
Oh yeah.
statistics have come back now that something like 33% of all inmates are actually innocent. We're starting to see now uh, through different technology and DNA testing and different things like that, certain people didn't do it. Then the ones that did do whatever they said, this guy is in prison for the rest of his life for selling marijuana. When you have others out here building $1 billion empires off of marijuana.
Right.
So, you know, part of what I was going to talk to is about is prophecy, the doors to listen. Moses went to Pharaoh and said, "Let my people go." And when Pharaoh said, "Who sent you?" He said, "I am the great I am." You know who I'm talking about.
Right.
That's what we are now. Pharaoh still got us. Look how many of us in prison. Look how many of us subscribe to his brands. Look how many of us bow down when his trumpet sounds and fall and have to apologize and have to get culturally appropriated and
Got to
have to
get
go got to
reprimanded.
go watch a documentary about a Holocaust and speak to a rabbi and all these other
Yeah.
things that we have to go. These are things that let us know that we are in bondage. A free man don't have to deal with that kind of action.
Right.
Somebody who's right in his own way, got his own lane, has his own people, don't have to deal with that. That's why you won't see uh, any other nationality being done that way. You know, Dave Chappelle says, you know, I know some things happened to y'all, but we didn't do it.
Right.
And I heard a lot of Jewish comedians, they didn't understand what he meant.
Yeah.
They're like, what does that
They
mean?
yeah.
It means we haven't done anything to you. You don't have to whip us like that. You don't have to publicly flog us like that. You don't have to make us bow down in front of the world and kiss your feet because you think we disrespected you. You don't have to. You don't have to treat us like that. On top of the fact that you're exploiting us, on top of the fact that we have to fight for the royalties and the credit for the production that we produced. You know, it's almost like producing something, then somebody else writes a patent on it and gets
Mm.
to take credit for it.
Right.
It's Eli Whitney and Edison. We giving Edison all this credit for the light bulb, but a brother named Eli Whitney put the filament in the light bulb that makes it glow
Hey,
and retains its light and holds the shape of the light bulb.
hey,
Why are we
KRS
talking
One,
about
KRS
Edison?
One taught us that. You know what I mean? Was that you?
So
Was that you must learn? You know.
yeah, yeah. Well, I'm talking about not Eli Whitney. That was the conjun.
That was a cotton gin.
I'm
Yes.
talking about hold on, now I gotta get the man's name because I don't want the whole world mad at me. Eli Whitney is the uh conjun, and I'm gonna get the light bulb here in just a second. I gotta get my mind slowed down.
You know the
But
fact checkers.
you
Anybody
know,
that's a
fact
fact
checkers on
checker,
it. That's what I
they
love
get on
about my
top of that.
people.
But
They're gonna correct
I
that.
know the gist of what you're talking about, though.
Right,
That's
right.
facts.
I think
Hmm.
Eli Whitney was the cotton gin.
Was
Louis Latimer. Louis
that's it?
Latimer.
Okay.
Louis Latimer. So that was the light bulb. But anyway, I dibbling, dabbling, and moving around so fast, my thoughts. So we got to come out of this bondage. We got to be able to, I say, have a seat at the table amongst the affairs of men. There are decisions, I know I said it before, but it bears repeating. There's decisions that are being made in regard to the world, our future, our global politics, and everything else that goes on. And everybody else is at the table but us.
Hmm.
Everybody else is having to say so. Now,
Yep.
they
Hey,
may not get to,
hey, I didn't mean to interrupt, but just like the boy Messy Marv used to say, you either at the table or you on the menu. Everybody
that
else at the table, we on the
yeah,
menu. You know what I mean?
everybody else at the table. Just think about the United Nations, right? Or anybody else.
Yeah.
Now, everybody don't get what they want, but you better believe China's at the table, sitting down, negotiating and bargaining for their best interest. You better believe that Russia is at the table. Every flag that flies at the UN at least has a voice. There's no voice for Asiatic Americans. Well, your voice is the European. He's American and you're American. That's not our voice. See, they think because some Anglo-Saxon that does not have your best interests says that he's American, that represents you. And I guess they're right in a way, because who are you? They are the major, you are the minor. We are their child, if you will. And so thus we have to have a legal guardian or a parent or somebody in a position of authority to go and advocate on our behalf. Your children don't get to do nothing unless they come and ask you, hey, Dad, can I get some Kool-Aid? Yeah, go ahead and get your cup, son. Hey, can we go ride our bikes outside? Yeah, go on outside now. Be back in an hour. That's what we are as a demographic to the powers that be. We're not at the table. There's nobody representing, quote unquote, what the world recognizes as Black America.
Right.
Now, I have a theory, and my theory is this. Okay, if we're not going to be at the table, then what is it that we control and what is it that they control? They control government, they control the prison industrial complex, they control politics, they control certain
Media.
things.
Yeah.
Right, media. What do we control? We control music, fashion, culture. We control actually spirituality and energy. That's why everybody really mess with us, because we got that energy, the way we dance, the way we walk, the way we rap. That's that energy that they've been trying to swagger jack, if you will. So we control that. And so when I compared the two, I said, man, the culture is way more powerful than the prison industrial complex. The music and the energy is way more powerful than any politics, because we will take penitentiary chances to be culturally appropriate, to have those shoes on, to have that Louis V belt or that Gucci belt, or to have that certain iPhone, or to have whatever the culture says is the thing right now. We don't care. We will rob, steal, jack, do whatever it takes to be able to have that symbol of success or that status symbol and say that's ours. That tells me that you rather have these shoes more than you worried about going to jail.
So like you said, the culture is more valuable than the actual
Right.
what they have control over.
And the spirit is what the fight is all about. Our spirit is so much dynamic. I know you can't see me, but you can see that picture and hear my voice, right? You
I hear
see the
your
picture?
voice. I don't see any picture right now. It just went
Okay.
black on your side.
Oh man, I wish you could. Let me see. Anyway, I know the microphone is on, and I can share it at least. I'm learning right now. But
Yeah, this is
anyway,
our first live. We're gonna do better. We're gonna patch it up, man. It's our I know you've been live a few times, but this is the first time I've actually did a live feed, man. We still got you on. It looks like the brother tapped out, but it's been a real lively discussion that we've been having with Nelson Nels. We've been on over an hour already. I think he got disconnected, but it's always great talking to that brother, and I appreciate all the information that he does provide whenever he comes on. And we do a lot of talking offline as well. But I'm going to be bringing him back on. We're going to be talking about a lot of different subjects. I have a few things that I wanted to, you know, uh, basically tap his brain and see how he feels about a few other different topics. But like I said, we've been on here over an hour, and I'm going to go ahead and share this. If you're watching this right now live, share this to any one of your socials. Please like and subscribe. We do like to, uh, you know, go into this type of information from time to time. You back on, brother?
Yeah, I'm right here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I thought we had got disconnected.
No, we did, and I heard you was wrapping it up, so we're not gonna carry on
No,
too
no,
much
no.
longer.
But we're not gonna belabor the point. But before you do go, I do want you to please give a little bit more information about this project you're working on,
Okay.
the brothers that you tapping in with this, and what can we expect?
Okay, so what I'm really doing is we getting ready to really just hit the marketplace, just like any major would hit the market. So, like you said, I've been working with other conscious artists from Canada to Texas, from New York to California, and we're getting ready to put out a series of compilations. If you're on Facebook, you can go to Guiders of the Nation. It's a group on there, and you see all kind of videos and stuff like that. That'll give you a little prelude. But not only that, we're gonna start creating like mixtapes, like with the cannon and the DJ drop and the bomb and the air horn, and start producing like real mixtapes with real DJs on there dropping. We're gonna approach Sirius Satellite and say, you need a conscious channel. You got Shade 45, you got Rock the Bells, you got old school hip hop, you got everything on there. You ain't got nothing conscious. You don't got no conscious channel on Sirius Satellite Radio. So I can, when I'm driving, I got to hear all this stuff, and my children in the car or whatever's going up. So we're getting ready to just approach the game the same way that a major would. Use this technology for distribution and use each other for the marketing and the promotion. And we're gonna shift the game. I don't know if you were up on it, but um, we've had an opportunity to be in front of Dame Dash and sit down at the table with some real thinkers and those who understand that the shift is now. Like if you haven't caught up yet, that's why Jesus came back, right? To assist the blind, the deaf, and the dumb. So if you're not, and dumb not trying to cap, like just you can't talk. You have no voice. You can't hear, can't see. That's kind of what that is.
Right.
And so we just, the thought is this: we back to the Genesis, right? We've come full circle. Everybody knows that time is not linear. It runs in cycles, right?
Yeah.
And so when you open up your Bible in Genesis, it says, "Let us make man." And we're going to make man in our image and after our likeness. That wasn't, and a lot of people don't understand, that doesn't mean there wasn't no men on the planet. There were people here called pre-Adamites that lived before Adam and Eve. It was just when the consciousness, the spirit got into Adam or got into us and said, this is how we moving forward. We're going to make a man in the image and after the likeness of what we want to see.
Right.
See, they made inwards. I don't know if I don't want to mess
Go
up
ahead.
the channel.
Now you say it. Say it.
They made
niggas.
niggas. Niggas
Right.
was made. They made niggas in the image and after the likeness of what they wanted. So the same way that was made, we, just like the Bible said, let us make man. If I can influence the thoughts, the culture, the economic, I'm creating a new man. The old man will die, resurrect a new man, one who controls his own household, is upright, independent, and fearless, has a global footprint, is in a global marketplace, making billions and billions of dollars. One of the reasons why they're trying to tell us there's too many people on the planet is because they're trying to get rid of the guy that's going to be the next Mansa Musa.
Right. Right.
Because that's inevitable. Pretty soon, the richest man on the planet will be Asiatic. The president of the United States will be Asiatic. The governors, the mayors, the police officers, the police chief will be us.
Right.
So we have to create a new man right now before we come into a position of power. Because if we come into that position without the mindset, then it means it's for nothing. See, we're trying to bring heaven on earth. They say it's going to create a new heaven and a new earth. As I understand it, heaven is a state of mind. It's not a
Right.
place to be reached. You can't look up in the sky and say heaven's on the other side of that cloud. And if I got to die to go to heaven, then I don't want to subscribe to that religion. Everybody else gets to have their heaven right here. We need to have our heaven right here too. But we have to create man. Let us create man. Man meaning mind, right?
Right.
That's what man really means, mind. The mind. Let us create the type of mental individuals that vibrate on a
Just
frequency
the mental
can't
frequency.
nobody touch us.
Yeah.
We can do that. And it's done through the music, because the music, the message has always been in the music. The music inculcates the message. It's the soundtrack. We communicate through the music. That's what Wade in the Water was. That means we finna run tonight. We get to singing Wade in the Water. What that means is somebody figured out that dogs can't smell underwater.
Right.
And when we run, them hounds be tracking us down. So what we're going to do is we're going to wade in the water all the way down the creek or the river, because we know they can't track us underwater. You know, we communicated messages. Swing low, sweet chariot. What do you think that means? It's a communication. So when they or whoever took over music, they distorted the line of communication. And when they did that, we are living the results of someone else controlling our narrative.
Right.
You know, in more science, we say that you have two selves. You have a higher self and you have a lower self. The higher self is the harmonies of life. It's the mother of virtues, right? It breeds justice, mercy, love, and right. You know, the higher self gives you a result. The lower self, the carnal self, the bodies of desires, that breeds hatred, slander, murders, lewdness, theft, and everything that harms. When we listen to the music, we know who's controlling it. When you listen to the music, what do you hear? Hatred, slander, plenty of murders, lots of lewdness, lots of throat babies, and lots of other things going up. Lewdness and theft.
And then you got the kids out here living that out.
Living it out, being influenced, thinking it's real. And you have people like Leo Cohen talking about, well, I got mouths to feed. You know, on the Breakfast Club, on our
You know
platform.
what? That sound like when you asking the brother, why is he out here selling dope? You know what I mean? You're like, man, Johnny, man, you was a good kid. You was making straight A's, man. Your mama bought you out of Air Jordan. You had everything. Man, what you out here doing this? Man, I got mouths to feed, man. I got my own family now, man. I got to make something happen. You know?
And the crazy part about it is, it's when it comes from somebody else eating off of you, it's like, and I don't care. It's at the detriment of your culture. It's the detriment of your...
I don't care if your mama's buying crack from me.
Right.
You think I care?
She got to get it from somebody.
I got mouths to feed. I got kids of my own.
And so, you know, that's like we had that conversation. 95%, probably more, of all hip hop music finances generated from the culture is not controlled by us. You know, we got a little, I think Snoop just got Death Row or something back, you know, something small, which was, we think it's the, you know, something, but it's still, you know, somebody in that.
He got a defunct record label, basically.
Basically, the Titanic sunk to the bottom of the ocean and they gave it to him. Yeah, you can have it. You feel me, bro? You know, it was Muhammad Ali had said, I've been working in the boiler room on the boat all this time, and all of a sudden they want to tell me come up and I get to be the captain. You know,
right.
He's like, what's happening? The ship is finna sink.
Ship about to go down. Like, come on.
That ship, this one they sold that brother a ship that's on the bottom of the ocean.
Oh yeah. And
so anyway, that's not to say nothing about Snoop, and that's not to say that it doesn't have value. But
right.
What I am saying that Jimmy Iovine don't make beats, and he don't get in the studio and produce raps, and he's not no dope rapper. What I am saying, Leo Cohen is not no big gigantic superstar rapper. What I am saying is Leo Cohen, Jimmy Iovine, Jerry Heller's gone. What's the other one? Tommy Mottola.
Tommy Mottola. What's it? Clive Davis.
Clive Davis.
Got
Jay
a lot
Records.
of them. A lot of them.
So what happens is, again, that's the cotton picking. You know, we doing all this work, but Clive Davis is getting paid. Jimmy Iovine is getting paid. Leo Cohen is getting paid, while the artists die in debt. And so it's something that we really have to take a look at. And it's not something that just started. Michael Jackson was talking about that. When you really go back and look what Michael had to say, Prince was saying it. But Michael Jackson was saying, you know, in his way, he was saying, not even with me. You go back and look at Chuck Berry. You go back and look at
Little Richard.
Of the
he had to give Little Richard back his catalog.
You go back and look at them artists that came out 20 years before Michael, 40 years before Mike, and say, dang, brothers was getting raw deals for the last, 100 years.
Since Muddy Waters.
And in hip hop, you hear Jigga say, we're trying to get them back for what they did to the Cold Crush. Don't nobody even know who Cold Crush is, because it was so long ago that they was Curtis Blow ain't getting no paycheck like that, whatever. But it's to me, it's all good. We're in 2023 now. Our eyes are open. We're starting to wake up. Marcus Garvey acquainted us to a sleeping giant. He said, "Wake up, you sleeping giant, and accomplish what you will." We here. There's no reason why we can't win. The other side already knows it. We got all the resources we need. We got all the finance we need. The technology is available. The only thing we don't have is unity. That's the only thing that we do not have. And so as we proceed, if you will, that's one of the reasons why I'm rocking with this album, because at the end of the day, they're probably not, they will, I'm not trying to be arrogant or cocky or anything like that, but I not only want my legacy to be looked upon as the Mo was a dope rapper and this and that. I want to be looked upon. Nelson Hill was really probably one of the most instrumental individuals in shifting the culture.
Right, and that's not coming from an ego. You know what I mean? Because I know
absolutely
that's coming just from genuine, care. Like people say that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. You know what I mean? And I know, like, man, you grew up in this, man. You about the same age as hip hop, and you just want to see things in its rightful place, and that's
right. Absolutely,
I'm totally on board, man. Anything you need,
if I can
do it, I'm with it, man. So we're gonna wrap this up. We've been on here for over an hour. I certainly appreciate you. I want to bring you back on because I want to go.
We're gonna finish it up with the visuals. We're gonna get the visuals and everything right on our next go around.
We're gonna map it out, even if we got to do a practice run. But I wanted to go into a Aboriginal discussion on our next one, because we've been seeing a lot with this FBA, a lot with the Moorish science, and it's kind of turned into a Moors versus FBA situation. And I just want to kind of clear the air and talk about some of the Aboriginal history that we have here in North America. And that will be down the line. And I know that's something that we always kind of
we're going to dig into it, because that is actually that's part of our legacy. So we have to unpack that. So I'm up for that discussion. I want to just give a big shout out to the platform. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no doubt.
Thank you for everybody that tapped in. I want y'all to share, and do whatever you're supposed to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Please comment, comment, subscribe, share this on your socials. I'm going to share it on mine. I appreciate everybody that was here for the duration of this, that was able to watch it. If you're watching it on the replay, I appreciate you watching it on the replay. And once again, I'm Reese Selassie. My brother Nelson Nelson L is on the line with me. And if you want to contact brother Nelson L, Nelson, if you could drop some of your socials, or your email, or what people can do, if they want to contact you on social media.
For sure. Okay, so I just got back on. Like I told you, I was on a little fast, social media fast. So I'm back online. For those who've been trying to contact me and haven't been getting a response, I'm back. First thing I would want you to do, though, before you contact me, go online and pull up Drew Ali, American Prophet. That's my latest my latest contribution, and check it out. You know, you tell me if you like it or not. On Facebook, just look up Nelson Ill or Reed Nelson or something like that. You'll find me. I'm everywhere like air. You feel me? So yeah, just get at us. I'm on here. I'm online. You're gonna get me. Just tap
Okay.
in. Drew Ali,
Yes,
American
sir.
Prophet. That's how you find me.
Well, once again, I want to thank you for even having the time to come. I know you was busy yesterday. I was a little busy after we was about to get started, but I appreciate you coming online and dropping that good information. It's always great speaking with you. And once again, thank everybody for watching. Please like and subscribe. All right,
We
peace.
here now.
Yes, sir. All right.